Hi everybody, welcome back to Strength for the Warrior. I'm Amber Herring. For those that don't know me, I'm Amber Herring. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and a licensed addictions counselor. And on Strength for the Warrior, I come to you live with hopes to build strength in a community, to remind us that we're not alone fighting the battle. I would like to know, as I ask in all of these, where you're finding strength in the battle this week. Whatever your battle might be, where are you sort of drawing strength from? For me this week it's been music. Those that know me know that music is pretty powerful for me. So in the last week that's sort of, or certainly where I have found strength in my battle. I recently came across a local band, Blue Street Walls, that I've been listening to pretty extensively this week and have found strength in that music, more so in the story. So I got the opportunity to hear his testimony and his story in recovery, and I'm really inspired by the way that he is using music to write the story of his recovery. So that's where I found strength in the battle this week. Where have you found strength in the battle this week? Let us know. Again, my hope is that this Facebook Live series will be an opportunity to build a community of strength. Today I want to talk about a lesson actually that I learned from my dog this week. So how many of us find that we learn the best lessons from our pets or our kids, right? They're sort of the best teachers. Early last week, we have a Lhasa Apso, a tiny breed dog who jumped off of our bed, which is a common pattern for her, a common practice for her. She jumped off the bed and for a couple days after that was limping. We have a pretty tall bed, so when she jumped off, and again, she's been doing this for a long time, but this one happened to hurt something in her ankle. So for a couple days after this happened, she was sort of babying her ankle. She was limping. We were taking her off and on furniture. If she wanted to get up on the couch, we were kind of transporting her down the stairs, outside. We have a step going out into our backyard, so we would have to carry her, up and down stairs. And recently, she's been sort of putting some weight on the leg, and she's been, trusting it, and she's walking now, and she's limping a little bit, but she's walking upstairs and can go outside by herself. And I just was sort of impressed with, or curious about her response to fear that might be different than our response. So in those first couple days when she was really scared to go downstairs and walk upstairs and do anything that might further damage her leg, she really was cautious and really relied on her humans to protect her and to get her to safety and to transport her. But she didn't stay there very long, right? So she started to put weight on her leg and sort of test it out. And, if it was painful, then she would stop. But if it wasn't so painful, then she kept going. And now, after several days of this, she's walking around, she's ambulating, she's still sort of nursing that leg a little bit, but it didn't keep her from doing those things for too long. And I thought the reason that she is now able to sort of walk around on it and get herself from one place to another is because she sort of risked it, right? She could have said, I'm staying on this bed forever, I'm never getting off of this bed, I'm never going to do anything that might further damage my leg or cause any sort of pain, which can be sort of isolating. And I think that's the difference between Coco, my dog. That's the difference between Coco and us. When we get hurt emotionally, we stay in that place for much longer, right? Because that pain it's so painful. I don't want to put myself out there again, right? So I might stay on the bed for a long time, right? And not put weight on my leg and not take a risk. Because it's too scary, it's too painful, I don't want to further damage that. So I'm thinking about examples of this. Hi, Brittany. Thanks for tuning in. I'm thinking about examples of this in our relational worlds. How many of us are or have been in a place where we say, man, I'm never asking for what I need again from my partner because every time I do, I get a response that's painful. Maybe I'm not, I'm not going to date again because every time I put myself out there, it's painful. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to ask for, hey, Mom, Jill, thanks for tuning in. I'm not going to ask for what I need because it's painful and I always get a response that is hurtful, right? So I think about, again, this metaphor, this analogy of Coco, as she put weight on her paw, sometimes it was painful and she had to sort of come back and nurse it a little bit more. But she used her experience to tell her that versus fear that sort of shows up in our mind, right? The fear says, don't ever do that again. It's going to be painful. Don't put yourself out there. Fear tells us to stay on the bed, right? But when she put weight on her foot and it was painful, that experience then told her, okay, pull it in. We need to nurse this a little bit more. It's too soon to kind of put ourselves out there. But then she tried it again and she tried it again. And as her leg healed, that experience told her, okay, now it's okay to put weight on it. Now it's okay to walk. But us humans don't really do that. We stay in this place, in this protected place, and we take what fear is telling us over what the experience might tell us, right? So we don't date, we don't ask for what we need, we don't practice vulnerability, we don't put ourselves out there because when we do, it's painful. But it won't always be the case. There will be times when it's not painful. Sometimes I use the metaphor with my clients. If I carry an umbrella with me 100% of the time, every time I go outside, I will 100% be protected by rain. I will be protected from the rain, right? But it's not raining 100% of the time. And when I leave my house with the umbrella on and it's not raining, I block the sun. I block the other things that maybe I might find enjoyable. And that's sort of, again, going back to this fear, that's sort of how we respond to fear. We carry the umbrella, we stay on the bed, we don't put ourselves out there for the chance that it might be painful. And the reality is that sometimes it will be painful. Sometimes we will ask for what we need from our partner, from our support system. Hey, Annette, thanks for tuning in. We may put ourselves out there and ask for what we need, or we may go on that first date and it doesn't go well. We may get hurt in relationship as we put ourselves out there. That may happen. And as Coco did, then we pull back, right? We pull back, we nurse it a little bit. We say, maybe that wasn't, maybe that didn't go the way that I wanted to. But then how do we get back out there, right? How do we test it out again versus staying on the bed or living under that umbrella? And that's what I would offer you this week, just encouraging you to, is there a place where fear has sort of kept you on the bed or under the umbrella? And is it time to maybe put some weight on that leg, right? Or is it time to sort of take a risk and ask your partner for something that you need, or make a request, or communicate a feeling that you're having in that relationship, or go on a date, or accept an invitation that you've been maybe contemplating saying no to? Is it time to sort of test it out? Thanks for tuning in. All those that said hello, thank you. Thank you for joining. If you're watching again in the live or you're watching in the replay, let us know where you're finding strength in the battle this week. Let's build some community around this. Where are you finding strength? And again, maybe it's time to take a risk. And if you feel the pain, it's okay to come back. Or if you get that response that is unhelpful or reinforces the pain, it's okay to come back and sort of nurse that leg a little bit. But let experience tell you how it's going to be versus your fear or your assumption of how it's going to be. Thanks all. We'll see you again next week.